Richard Grenell is a prominent figure in American politics, known for his direct communication style and his close ties to the Trump administration. As of June 2025, he holds two very significant and demanding positions that place him at the intersection of culture and international diplomacy. His primary role is serving as the president of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., one of the nation's most prestigious performing arts venues. This appointment puts him in charge of steering the cultural direction of an institution that has long been a beacon for artistic expression, a responsibility he has taken on with a clear and often controversial vision for its future. Simultaneously, Grenell continues to serve as a special presidential envoy, a role that leverages his extensive experience in foreign affairs. This diplomatic work keeps him deeply involved in the Trump administration's ongoing international negotiations, including sensitive discussions with global powers like Russia. Juggling these dual responsibilities means Grenell is constantly navigating the complex worlds of both high-stakes politics and high art. His presence in these two distinct arenas makes him a unique and influential voice, capable of shaping policy and public discourse on multiple fronts, from national security to the very definition of cultural tolerance in a deeply divided America. Beyond his official duties, Grenell is also a figure of considerable political speculation, particularly in his home state of California. He has openly considered a potential run for governor, a move that would pit him against the state's established Democratic leadership. This ambition is fueled by his vocal criticism of current state policies, especially concerning the ongoing immigration protests that have gripped cities like Los Angeles. His commentary on these issues reflects his broader political philosophy, which emphasizes a strong, conservative approach to governance, standing in stark contrast to the progressive direction currently championed by Governor Gavin Newsom. This combination of roles, cultural leader, diplomat, and potential political candidate, defines Richard Grenell in 2025. He is not simply an administrator or a spokesperson, but an active participant in some of the most pressing debates of our time. His leadership at the Kennedy Center, in particular, has become a focal point for discussions about art, politics, and who gets to have a voice in the public square. His actions and statements are closely watched by allies and critics alike, as they offer a clear window into the shifting cultural landscape of the nation under the current administration. At the heart of Richard Grenell's mission for the Kennedy Center is a firm and unwavering stance against what he identifies as cancel culture. He has positioned himself as a champion for absolute tolerance in the arts, arguing that creative spaces should be open to everyone, regardless of their political beliefs.
Everyone should be welcome. No one should be booed. No one should be banned, Grenell has stated, articulating a core principle of his leadership.
He believes that true artistic freedom can only flourish when all voices are permitted to be heard, and he has made it his goal to ensure the Kennedy Center embodies this ideal. Grenell is quick to point out where he believes the threat to this open exchange comes from. In his view, the modern wave of intolerance originates not from the right but squarely from the left.
The intolerance is coming from the left, he has claimed directly, framing his work at the Kennedy Center as a necessary corrective to this trend, and heralding his own arrival as the return of tolerant voices to a major cultural institution.
This conflict came to a dramatic head in March 2025 with the cancellation of the blockbuster musical Hamilton. The show's producers, including creator Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeffrey Seller, pulled their planned 2026 run from the Kennedy Center. They cited President Trump's decision to appoint himself chairman of the center's board as the reason, stating that the venue's neutrality had been destroyed. They made it clear they would not allow their production to be associated with what they called the Trump Kennedy Center, a move that immediately ignited a fierce public debate over the politicization of the arts. Grenell's response was swift and sharp. He publicly accused Miranda and Seller of engaging in a publicity stunt and condemned their decision as an act of political intolerance. He argued that by canceling the show, they were the ones who were being intolerant of people who held different political views. This incident became a perfect example of Grenell's larger argument, that a powerful segment of the artistic community was actively working to exclude and punish those who did not conform to their political orthodoxy, undermining the very principles of open dialogue that institutions like the Kennedy Center are meant to protect. As one of the most prominent openly gay figures in the Republican Party, Richard Grenell's views on the LGBTQ+ community often attract significant attention and debate. He has expressed a belief that the community needs to engage in a degree of self-reflection and regulation, particularly regarding its public image.
Grenell has argued that the gay community has to police itself, a statement he made in the context of pride parades and public demonstrations. This perspective suggests a desire for a more mainstream and perhaps more conservative representation of gay identity, one that aligns with traditional values and avoids confrontational or flamboyant expressions. This viewpoint is further clarified by his use of the term normal gays. Grenell has used this phrase to describe himself and others within the community who, in his view, live conventional lives that are not defined solely by their sexual orientation. The term implies a distinction between different segments of the LGBTQ+ population, separating those who integrate quietly into broader society from those who adopt a more activist or culturally distinct identity.
For Grenell, being a normal gay means prioritizing shared values like patriotism, family, and professional life over a more politically charged or radical form of queer identity. His friendship with First Lady Melania Trump offers another layer to his public persona, showcasing his integration within the highest echelons of a conservative administration.
Grenell has spoken of his close relationship with Mrs. Trump, a connection that underscores his position as an insider in a political movement that has often had a complicated and sometimes hostile relationship with the LGBTQ+ community. This friendship serves as a powerful symbol for Grenell, demonstrating that a gay man can not only find acceptance, but can thrive within the modern Republican Party, challenging the narrative that the party is inherently unwelcoming.
These positions have, unsurprisingly, generated a wide range of reactions. Some praise Grenell for forging a path for gay conservatives and for advocating for a more inclusive Republican Party. They see his emphasis on normalcy as a pragmatic way to build bridges and find common ground. However, many critics within the LGBTQ+ community argue that his language is divisive and harmful. They contend that the idea of normal gays creates a damaging hierarchy, invalidating the diverse experiences and expressions of identity that make up the queer community and potentially alienating those who do not fit into his specific mold. Under Richard Grenell's leadership, the Kennedy Center's operational health has become a subject of public scrutiny. Following the Hamilton controversy and the broader political shakeup at the institution, reports began to circulate suggesting a decline in ticket sales and subscriptions. Critics pointed to these alleged numbers as evidence that the center's new, more political direction was alienating its traditional audience. However, Grenell has forcefully pushed back against these claims, stating unequivocally that the reports are wrong. He insists that the financial state of the center remains strong and that public interest has not waned under his tenure. To bolster his position, Grenell has pointed to internal data and the expert opinions of his own team. He has noted that the Kennedy Center's chief financial officer and its senior vice president of marketing have both supported his assessment of the situation.
Our financial data shows stability and even some growth in key areas. The narrative of decline just doesn't match the facts.
From a marketing perspective, we continue to see strong engagement and interest from a wide range of audiences. The Kennedy Center is still very much a vibrant destination.
By citing these internal authorities, he aims to counter the narrative of decline with what he presents as factual, data-driven evidence. This defense is crucial for Grenell, as the perceived success or failure of the Kennedy Center under his watch will undoubtedly impact his reputation as both a cultural and a political leader, validating or undermining his entire project. Beyond the walls of the Kennedy Center, Grenell remains deeply engaged in the political landscape, particularly in California. As immigration protests continue in Los Angeles, he has been a vocal critic of the state's handling of the situation. His conservative stance on immigration enforcement stands in direct opposition to Governor Gavin Newsom's policies, setting the stage for a potential political showdown.
People like me are out here every day, demanding real change and a voice in how our communities are treated. We won't be ignored no matter who's in charge.
Grenell's consideration of a run for governor is more than just a passing thought. It represents a serious challenge to the state's progressive establishment, fueled by a belief that a significant portion of Californians are ready for a change in leadership. Ultimately, Grenell's vision ties all of these threads together with one overarching message: inclusivity. Whether he is discussing the Kennedy Center, the Republican Party, or the state of California, his stated goal is to create spaces where everyone feels welcome. He argues that true tolerance requires embracing political diversity and rejecting the impulse to cancel or exclude those with whom we disagree. For the Kennedy Center, this means opening its doors to artists and audiences from all walks of life and all political persuasions. It is a bold and controversial vision, but for Richard Grenell, it is the only way forward.